Howdy everyone, Matt here. I got a question for you. How much do you think AI is actually going to replace us in the rehab world? Let's talk about it. All right, everyone. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Matt. I am Matt the PT, coming at you with another video, another topic of something in the physical therapy world. And this one is about AI. It's probably not what you think about with AI, but something a little different. And because I was just thinking about this the other day, I remember around 2021, 2022, there was this big talk that AI is going to replace us. It's going to take all of our jobs. Just people can just type in all their symptoms and it tells them an individualized treatment plan, and that is faster and cheaper and easier than anything. And then they just do it, and then they're better, and we're all going to lose our jobs. And of course, the business coaches started coming out with training and coaching and all this stuff that's going to make you AI proof or whatever. And I started thinking the other day, it's been a significant amount of time. It's been 3-4 years. And how much has this actually come to fruition? Has this come actually true? So I put this poll up here and I said, we still talk about AI? Is it going to replace us as PTs and PTAs? And you see, overwhelmingly, no, people don't believe that. And the one person who did say that yes, didn't portray that AI is going to replace us, but more that AI is going to get utilized in our treatments and approaches and stuff like that. So it's like an overwhelmingly no, at this point that AI is not going to replace us.
They took our job.
And I come to this thing to really think about that. And I've had really kind of two things that have come about from this. First off, about AI replacing us. And I will say this. I never felt that AI was going to actually replace what we do in rehab. And my example that I was looking at was search engines. So Yahoo and Google. I showed my age saying Yahoo. But when I was doing personal trainer many, many years ago, the search engines were a big area of worry and big area of concern. And people were saying, everyone is just going to go to these things and just type what they want in, and they get it, and they get these programs, and they're not going to need to come in and see us. They're not going to have to pay for all this, and it's just going to ruin everything. And that's been, oh my gosh, almost 20 years now, and search engines are still around. Yet people still go to a personal trainer. They still use those things. I mean, even look at now. I mean, the same thing kind of applies to rehab physical therapy. Yeah, we still have Google out there. We have these AI machines, or search engines, whatever you call them. We have this platform right here, YouTube. YouTube is top 2 or something in search engines. People look up what is going on with them. But rates of health is not improving. We're still having more musculoskeletal issues. Our clinics are still super busy. We still got people reaching out and asking us about what to do for their issues. And I really believe that boils down to is that people don't fully understand what is going on with them, especially with health issues. They don't fully understand. Now, I'm not saying that the person is dumb or ignorant or anything like that. It's that that's not an area that they know. I mean, if you're a PT, PTA, or anything in the rehab, could you explain to me things about building a car or working on any sort of vehicle? Well, you could if you have a background in doing that. Maybe that's something you like to do inside. Yeah, you could tell me about those things. But if you have no idea about the major aspects of of a vehicle, you can't tell me about that. What about plumbing, electrical work, framing? Can you tell me any of that? What about things like cooking? Again, finance. It's not in the full area to understand the depth and all the depth and breadth of all sorts of medical issues. And that's where we really come in. And I see where that's an issue where artificial intelligence cannot keep up, that it can't do that. Because yes, the AI is just giving you information, but people don't know how to put in the proper information. I mean, think about how often somebody comes in with some sort of issue, and that when you're investigating and talking with you, and it may not be every one of them, but it can happen, they leave out some important detail. They left out something. And you're like, that's the piece that we needed. That little thing tells me everything that we need to know. But that person thought, well, I didn't think this was actually the right thing to do. So it's that people, again, they just don't fully understand how to investigate. They can think something is more important than another thing. And again, that's not saying that it's bad on that person's part. I get people all the time sitting across from me. They're like, I don't know what to do for this. I said, you actually do know what to do with it. You're coming in to see me. So you knew what to do. If you knew what to do for it, you wouldn't be here. You would have taken care of it. But you knew enough to go to someone who understands what to do. So I see. It's not going to replace this because of that part. If you think this AI stuff is wild, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Back to the video. With that being said as well, I do believe that when it comes to something like any kind of health issue, people like the personal touch. I don't want to give this all myself, to bear and be vulnerable to a machine. Because how much do I trust that this machine is going to, listen to me and validate and do? And that's where we come in, that we can be compassionate, we can be understanding and listen to these other things that go on. I mean, put it in like all the social determinants of health. That could be a huge aspect that goes into somebody's rehab. So yeah, somebody could come in and they have a simple back pain. And yeah, you could type all that stuff into a ChatGPT and it just, what's it to do? However, is it going to look at addressing the other issues? Like maybe this person lives in an area where there's a lot of light and sound pollution, where they're not getting a lot of good sleep. Maybe this person works a weird shift. They work a third shift, so they're not able to get normal sleep patterns. Maybe they have multiple jobs. Maybe they're in stressful situations or things. It could be any number of things additional that go outside of it. And sometimes, again, that kind of goes back to what I said a minute ago, that people may not understand that has a correlation over to things as well. Also, I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many times that people think that more is better. Oh, I have this pain. I need to do more stretching and more strengthening and more this and more that. And let me pull away from these other things that I can get a great benefit from. So I'm not going to sleep as much, or I'm going to take time off of this or that or this. And I'm going to do more of this stuff because I'm just going to throw everything at it to get better. And when you actually assess them to go, no, you need to do a little bit less of these other things. Push these things aside. Put these things aside. Let's focus on this. And people can come back and saying, I feel so much better. Yes, because if more got you better, more is what you need. And more would have worked at this point. So you're adding more and more and more and not getting results. So you're just going to keep adding more. Yeah. So I think that's an aspect of it. And lastly, this is kind of a secondary thing that comes from this. And that is that we really need to understand priorities of things. So going back, 2021, 22, the worry, all that was about AI. It's going to replace us. Oh my gosh, we need to put all of our effort into this thing. Now go a couple years, it's nothing. It's not a big concern. It's not a big worry. So we put all this effort into something that never materialized. Was it actually to say, again, that we fought against it or whatnot? Or is that going to be the natural course? We can't say those things. But I liken this to so many other issues that people come up with time to time. There's some issue. Now, yeah, I'm going to say there are big, pressing, concerning issues that are going on in healthcare, in rehab. And I'm not dismissing those things. I'm not saying ignore the thing about student loan, the cost of student loans, or ignore the stuff with wages, or ignore the stuff with reimbursement. I'm not saying ignore those things. But there's often these little things that come up that we are going to throw so much effort into and just freak out over when we could easily say, you know what? We're aware of it. Let's watch it. Let's not put a ton of effort. Let's just watch it. If things change, then we can get to it. But if we throw a ton into it, we could have thrown way more effort into something else and gotten way more ahead in these other things. It reminds me of this thing that people said about Napoleon. They said Napoleon always waited 2 weeks to open his mail because he said usually by that time the problem had solved itself. And so it's like, why try to address something now that's probably going to solve itself over a period of time? And I think we need to be really aware of it with some of these things that just kind of come up and, from time to time. Now, that's all just my opinions and beliefs about it. I want to hear yours. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, beliefs, all of that down in the comments below. Do you think AI is actually going to replace us? It's just kind of creep in there that Skynet is just waiting to become aware? You think that's going to eventually happen? Do you think we're actually going to get replaced? Or more of it, it's just AI is just going to be a useful tool that, like, hey, like our documentation software. If you've used any of those AI documentation softwares, they are amazing. I love it. Or with like creating exercises or programs or being able to schedule pages, that it's just going to be more of a useful tool that we can utilize in therapy, but it's not going to actually replace so much of what we do, but it's just going to make our jobs a little bit easier. Let me know that. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a copay or anything like that. And until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of your patients. I'll see you then.